Habeeb?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you please introduce?
Hello, my name is Ashiq Habeeb. I'm a pilot with Indigo. So I'm doing my program. It's called Cadet Pilot Program. It's with CAE, Canadian Aviation Electronics, and they have done a partnership with Indigo, where anticipating the aviation boom back in 2016 to 18, they partnered together in order to hire pilots and then train them so that when the boom happens and the aircrafts are delivered, they would have enough manpower to sustain their operations. So after school, I had joined an engineering college in Delhi College of Engineering, where I was in the mechanical engineering branch. And from 2014 to 2018, I was doing my course. So when 2017 the opportunity came up, I started applying for it towards the end of my third year, anticipating that in my fourth year I would be going through the selection process and could join directly after I'm done with my. The selection process comprised of multiple stages. First, it started with a written test, and once you clear the written test, there's an aptitude test where they test your motor skills, multitasking ability, as well as your ability to concentrate for long periods on simple things while you're being tested on your motor skills side by side. Once you finish with the aptitude test, you move forward to the psychologist interview, where they interview regarding your mental state and how fit you are regarding decision making, as well as the decisions you'll have to face while you fly an aircraft. And once you finish all three stages, you move on towards the interview rounds, where first you'll have a group discussion along with other successful candidates at that point. And it's during this group discussion they put you through scenarios where you have to work together with the rest of the team and come to a conclusion regarding the problem that you're provided with. This is an important step as this helps in human resource management. Because when you fly an aircraft, there are two pilots, and unless both of them work together to solve all the problems, flying an aircraft will be not as an easy job. And once you finish with the group discussion, you move on to the final round, which is the personal, where as well as someone in the management, where they would ask you a lot of personal questions as well as your aims and test you overall based on your results in the previous rounds. And once you complete all five, then and only then would Indigo agree to hire you and send you to becoming a pilot. And the training is comprised of three different stages. First is theory and the written exams, but the most important thing even before the exams are your medical tests, where you have to undergo heavy rigorous medical tests, similar to Air Force pilots and Army officers, because you cannot afford to have any sort of issues while you're flying an aircraft probably 35,000 feet above in the air. And once you're complete with your medical, only then are you declared fit to resume your duty. And like I said, the first stage is the theory exams, where you will be taught about aviation law, navigation in the air, and technical specifications regarding the aircraft you'll be flying, as well as general knowledge in aviation. And the last and most important chapter about weather, because the weather is the only thing that is outside our control. And whatever decisions you make regarding weather will decide how the flight will proceed on that day. So deciding to go or not and choosing your route based on the weather is a very important part of flying. And once you've completed and cleared all these exams, which happen with the DGCA and the DCA stands for Directorate General of Civil Aviation, which is the governing body for aviation in India. Once you're complete with your theory exams, then you begin your flight. So in my case, I did my flying in Phoenix, Arizona, in the United States. We flew out of an airport called Falcon Field, and Phoenix is a desert-like area. So as seen from the first flight up till my last flight, which is about 270 hours of flying, I've flown over the desert area of Phoenix, Arizona, and all the way up to Los Angeles, California. And during your flying stages, you will learn the basics regarding flying and the operations of the aircraft. And only after then are you released to fly alone. And once you begin flying alone, then you're taught the more complicated aspects of flying regarding how to fly the aircraft in bad weather when you're unable to see what's outside. This is one of the places, like it was said earlier in today's meeting, where technology and things like 5G and GPS come into play. Because without telecommunication, radio networks, and GPS, it's impossible to fly a plane in bad weather when you don't know what you can see outside. Because you cannot trust your senses, especially when you're blind, because they can be swayed by the weather conditions. And this is not a safe way to fly an aircraft. So once you learn how to trust your systems and fly and land with the help of the GPS and radio aids, you move on to the final stage, which would be your commercial pilot license. Here you're tested on everything you've learned till now, and after 3 sets of rigorous tests, internal followed by external, only then are you cleared to be a commercial pilot. And once you have your commercial license, you return back to India to continue and join the airline. Once you join the airline will not immediately send you to fly the aircraft, but instead, first you'll have to learn all about the company policies as well as the added responsibility that comes. Because during your training, you only fly in a small 4-seater aircraft where at the maximum there's an instructor with you or you're alone. And if anything was to happen, there are 2 people's lives at stake. But the extra training done by the airline is to make you realize that for every decision you take, there can be up to 150 to 200 passengers sitting in the aircraft whose lives depend on your decision. So you have to be extremely sharp, concentrate, and always make the right decision because there is no scope for error. And I had done all this and I was waiting to join, and then sadly COVID happened. So temporarily, due to the flight restrictions, flying has slowed down, but eventually hoping by the end of this year or next, flying will resume. And once that happens, the course would reach completion once I finish and join and resume my flight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashiq. It was a very nice experience.